How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing great. As many of you guys know, my name is Tang, and I am working with an organization called ARCO, which stands for Immigrant and Refugee Community Organization, and I work there as a youth advocate. And today I want to read the story called "How Friendship Began Among Birds," and this is translated by Mountaina. This story, as other stories that I have read, are come from Burma, and a person named Mountaina, he translate those story into English. So let's get started. All right, guys. Before we read the story, I want us to know some vocabulary words. So let's go through them. So the first word is pheasant. The word pheasant is a type of bird. As you can see in this picture, there's a bird here. It kind of look like a chicken or a rooster, but this is a pheasant. It has long tail. That's interesting. I never seen it in real life, but yeah, this is a very beautiful bird from the picture that I can see. And the second question is rivalry. According to the dictionary, rivalry means competition for the same objective or for superiority in the same field. So basically, what it means is that what it means that one person, you and the other person compete each other for to show who's better. Like for example, like let's just say soccer. Let's just say soccer. A team might be competing against another team to see who's better. So that's called rivalry. And the next one I want us to know is the word quarrel. That means have a heated argument or disagreement. So quarrel is when there's so it's close to when like you fight one another, but you are yelling. You're not just disagreeing. You are fighting. You are yelling at each other. You are physically fighting at throwing punches at one another. So that's mean quarrel. And the next word is regard. Regard means consider or think of someone or something in a specific way. So that means you. So basically, it means you think about somebody a specific way. Like for example, like if you think, let's just say there's a girl named Jessica, and you think her as beautiful, then you are regarding her as a beautiful person. So that's called regard. And contempt. The next word is called contempt. Contempt means the feeling that a person or the thing is beneath consideration. So that means when you when you think about somebody, when somebody, so that means you, let's say, you don't think about that person because you don't think they are deserved to be think about. So for example, like um let's just say in a school, there's a person that come to you and said, hey, can you be my friend? And you don't even think about him or her as a friend, and you just dismiss it, and you not even pay attention to him. So that's kind of that's mean contempt. Or another word is courtesy. According to the dictionary, courtesy means the showing of politeness in one's good and behavior toward others. So basically, it means being respectful, being polite to one another, and being nice to another. So that was courtesy mean. All right, before we jump into the story, I want to ask you some questions. So the first question is, who is are your closest friends, and how did you guys become friends? For me, one of some of my closest friends are from college, and we become friends when we like studied together at my college, at my university. We did um, assignment together, projects together. So that's how we become friends. And the second question is, do you think birds are friends? Why or why not? As you guys see in the beginning, how do the birds become friends? Um, so do you think birds are friends? Like if you think right now the birds, do you think they are friends or they are not? And the third question is, how will the birds become friends? So as you guys know, the ending of the story gonna be that birds become friends. I mean, that's what we are going to read about how the birds become friends. But before that, looking through, understanding through the vocabulary, how do you guys think the birds are going to become friends? Alright, guys, let's start reading the story called "How Friendship Began Among Birds." At first, friendship was unknown among birds, for there was intense rivalry among them all. If a bird saw another bird, he at once said, "I am a better bird than you," and the other replied, "Certainly not, for I am better than you." Then they would start to fight. One day the pheasant met the crow, and being in no mood to quarrel, he said, "Crow, you are better. Crow, you are better bird than me." The crow was not only surprised but very pleased at these words of the pheasant, and of the politeness he replied, "No, no, pheasant, you are a better bird than me." The two birds sat down and had a chat. Then the pheasant said to the crow, "Crow, I like you. Let us stay together." "All right, pheasant," replied the crow. So the two lived together in a big tree. With the passing of time, their regard for each other grew, but in their case, familiarity did not breed contempt, and they continued to show courtesy and respect to each other. Other birds watched the association of the pheasant and the crow with interest, and they were surprised that the two birds should stay together for such a long time without fighting or quarreling. At last, some of the birds decided to test their friendship. So they went to the pheasant while the crow was away and said, "Pheasant, why do you live with that good for nothing crow?" "You must not say that," replied the pheasant. "The crow is better bird than me, and he honors me by living with me in this tree." The next day they went to the crow while the pheasant was away and said, "Crow, why do you live with that good for nothing pheasant?" "You must not say that," replied the crow. "The pheasant is a better bird than me, and he honors me by living with me in this tree." The birds were deeply impressed with the attitude of the pheasant and the crow toward each other, and they said to themselves, "Why couldn't we be like the pheasant and the crow instead of fighting and quarreling?" And from that day onward, friendship and respect for one another developed among birds. Alright, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the story for this week. So there are some post questions I want to ask. So the first question is, why did the birds fight in the beginning? And another question I have for you guys is, how did the crow and the pheasant get along? Remember, the pheasant says to the crow something, and the crow said to the pheasant something in the beginning. And after they become friends, where do they live together? Where did the pheasant and the crow live together? And another question I have is, as you guys may remember, The birds at first doesn't trust the pheasant and the crow, and they test their friendship. So, what did the pheasant and the crow say when the birds test their friendship? And the last question I have for you is, what lesson did you learn from this story? Alright, guys. After answering all those questions, I want you guys to imagine somebody that you can be friends. That somebody you really, really hate or doesn't even want to talk to. And the first thing I want you guys to do is write the reason why you can be friend with that person. Why can't you be friend with that person? Maybe you guys in a fight, or maybe he or she broke your trust. Why? What are the reason that you can be friend with that person? And the second thing I want you guys to do is then write the things that you can do for you to be closer to him or her. Yeah, write the things that maybe you might talk to your principal about it, and you guys will talk it through your problems. Maybe you guys will compromise. Write the ways that you guys can do. You guys can get along and become friends again. Alright, guys, this is it. Thank you so much for listening and being here, listening the story, how friendships start in birds. So thank you so much. Have a nice day, guys.